why there will be more assassination attempts on presidents in the near future. First Robert Fico, the president of Slovakia, then Donald Trump, the ex-president of the United States. The one reason why there will be more attempts on politicians is, in short, because of the phenomenon called the contagion effect. To help you understand better what the contagion effect is, let me give you an example. In March 1986, 4 teenagers in New Jersey made a suicide pact and then carried out their plan. Within a week of this multiple suicide, 2 teenagers in the Midwest were found dead under similar circumstances. Media reports no doubt spotlighted the confusion and grief surrounding teenage suicide. A sociologist at the University of California named David Phillips and his colleagues studied suicide rates among teenagers following network television news or feature stories about suicide. Their research tracked fluctuations in teenage suicides by comparing suicide rates before the stories with rates after the stories. Within a week of the broadcasts, the increase in teenage suicides was far greater than could be explained by chance alone. Furthermore, the more coverage major television networks devoted to suicide, the greater the subsequent increase in suicides among teenagers. These increases held even when the researchers took other possible causes into account. The most likely explanation for the increase in teenage suicides following media publicity is that such publicity actually triggers subsequent copycat suicides. Another interesting example by Professor Phillips is his latest Startling prediction. Within 4 days of the next nationally televised heavyweight championship prize fight, at least 11 innocent US citizens who would not otherwise have died will be murdered in cold blood. The reason? People learn from the behavior of those they see and admire on television. Here's how Phillips came to make his startling prediction. He first gathered an exhaustive list of past heavyweight championship prize fights and examined the fluctuation of daily homicide rates before and after each fight. After correcting for the influence of seasons, days of week, holidays, and other trends, he discovered that homicide rates rose significantly on the 3rd and 4th days after the fights. Sadly, homicide rates did not decrease at any time after the fight to compensate for the immediate effects of the bout. Thus, one can safely conclude that most, if not all, of these 11 murdered individuals would still be alive had there not been a publicized prize fight. What is even more haunting about Phillips's research is that the type of person killed just after a prize fight is likely to be similar to the fighter beaten in the bout. That is, if a young black male was beaten, then murders of young black but not white males increased. Similarly, if a young white male was beaten, more young white but not black males were murdered. Furthermore, the effects of prize fights on homicides increased with the amount of fight publicity. The more people who knew about the fight, the greater the number of homicides. Empirical studies support the assertion that media can influence violent behavior. Violent crime rates, including homicides and assaults, often spike following the broadcast of violent events. This phenomenon, known as the contagion effect, illustrates how media coverage can act as a catalyst for real-world violence. Now let's come back to the attempts made recently on politicians. The recent shootings at presidents are a stark reminder of the potential for media to influence violent behavior. When such high-profile events are extensively covered by the media, they can inspire copycat actions. The extensive coverage can serve as a blueprint for individuals who are already predisposed to violence, providing them with both the method and the motivation to carry out similar acts. Media coverage of these incidents often includes detailed descriptions of the events, the individuals involved, and the aftermath. While the intention might be to inform the public, such detailed reporting can inadvertently glamorize the perpetrators, providing them with a form of notoriety. For individuals seeking recognition or driven by ideological motives, this can be a powerful incentive to replicate the violence. The recent shootings at presidents serve as a tragic reminder of this influence. By understanding and addressing the ways in which media coverage can contribute to the contagion effect, society can take steps to mitigate the risk of future incidents. Media organizations, policymakers, and the public must work together to promote responsible reporting and foster a culture that discourages violence rather than inadvertently encouraging it.